but I remember there'd be a few songs every night. It's crazy. But I would actually be on stage like in tears, like full on crying, because it's just such an unreal experience that you're in this like a great like costume that they've picked out. 50 Cent's literally performing like 2 meters away from you. You're performing out to like 50,000 plus people in a stadium, and just to think of like how hard you've worked to get to where you are, and that you're doing what you love so much when you could be, you know, behind a desk doing a 9 to 5, and you're standing on stage like taking all that in. It's just unreal. So you really just gotta, just enjoy every moment of it. Yeah.
Welcome to Studio Sessions, a video series for creative performers. Each week we go behind the scenes in the shoots and sit down with guests to discuss their careers, the creative industry, and share the lessons they've learned along the way.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
How's your day been today?
It's been good. I've had a fun day today. Lots of laughs, lots of clumsiness, but I've had a great day.
Yeah. Let's just let people know that the clumsiness was from you and not from me.
Shoot, it was. It definitely was.
Cool. So would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Julia-Ruth Smith. I'm a professional dancer, and I'm born in South Africa, but from New Zealand, now living in London.
How did you end up in London?
It was very spontaneous. I was on holiday with some friends, and one of my friends was like, they're looking for a new place to move to in London. And I was like, I might just tag in. So honestly, I went back home to New Zealand and paid for a visa, packed my bag up and my house and everything within like a month, and then moved my bum over here.
Wow, it's like super spontaneous.
Very spontaneous. My mom was like, what have you done? So I was like, I'm gonna move now to the other side of the world. She was like, oh God, okay. See you later.
And how was it kind of arriving in London? What was that kind of like?
It was a lot to adjust to. I think New Zealand's a lot more slow paced. It's very much so once you meet a group of people, then you kind of see the same people over and over again.
Yeah.
So moving to like the big city and like, you're riding tubes and buses and public transport, and that here is just so much better. It was like a lot to adjust to, very overwhelming. It was a bit hard at first. So I did my first like 6 months here, and when my lease for that flat was up, I was like, I think I need to go do like an Eat, Pray, Love. So I did a little travel journey to like, where did I go? Ireland. I went to Bali, then like back to Sydney and then New Zealand. I just kind of had to like regroup, and then I came back with like a different mindset. So yeah, it was good. I think I needed that just to kind of take it all in.
And on that kind of little journey you had there, what was the thing that kind of really helped you kind of reset or kind of change for when you got back?
I think it was definitely the mindset. So I sat down with my mom and I just was like, it's a lot to adjust to. It's a very different lifestyle. The dance industry here is a lot more different than what it is back home. So even like auditions are different. The kind of headshots that you take is different. So it's just learning to adapt to a new lifestyle if you want to make it work. It's very fast paced. So you've kind of got to jump on the hamster wheel and keep going. And, you kind of get left behind. So I think I came in now knowing what I had to do. And I had a few friends now, so it's just a bit easier to kind of really just push and put my head down and kind of work hard. Yeah.
What would your advice be to someone who was travelling from a different country to move to London for that kind of first 6 months?
I think it's don't expect it to be like wherever you're from or to be like home. I think you have to look at it as a new adventure and opportunity. I think the second that you start going, which you will anyway, but thinking, I miss home, I wish it was like this, not like this. I think that's when you start to, I don't know, not really be present and taking where you are. So you got to look at it completely different. It's a new place. You've got to step into it and just go take it for what it is.
Yeah.
Ready? Oh,
So coming to the looks we did today, what was your first look and why did you bring that?
Well, what I was thinking for the shoot today was, I think the last time I shot with you was quite more funky and edgy, and I think I just wanted some shots for like myself that made me feel good, made me happy. But this time I wanted to go for something more commercial, something that I could really pitch to agencies, and that kind of matched a lot of the photos that I've seen from other dancers that I booked here in London. And I changed my hair up, so I just needed some new fresh shots that kind of matched where I'm at in my life right now. Yeah. Oh.
Love that.
Love! Yes. Oh my God, fuck. I'm gonna need help. Ah! Hey.
Nice
Shit. Yeah. Next one.
And where are you in your life right now?
I'm doing a lot more cabaret and burlesque. So that's a lot different. So I've got more solos in that I'm doing. So I really wanted to promote myself as not just a commercial dancer, but also I do burlesque and jazz as well. And yeah, I think I'm just more into like I'm more self-aware or more like comfortable with myself now. So I'm kind of stepping into a new chapter. And yeah, I just feel like these looks today kind of embodied where I'm at right now and what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like for someone who's kind of like getting started, what would your advice be to them in terms of kind of becoming more comfortable with themselves?
I think it's not comparing yourself to other people. I think it's just be the best that you can be for your own brand, because whatever you're doing in your dance career or however you're trying to market yourself, there's something that will match that. So I think if you're trying to be someone else because I mean, they look amazing or they're killing it or they're booking lots of jobs, I think that's kind of where you can fall short. You want to just stay true to you. So if you are kind of a bit more cutesy and pink girly vibe with like blonde hair, like stick to that. That's your brand. That's really market that really well. Or if you're something a little bit more edgy, like tattoos and that, then you got to really stick to that as well and embody like who you are. Yeah.
And how would you define like your brand as a dancer?
I'd say it's a mix between kind of cutesy and edgy. I'm definitely quite a full out dancer. So the hair matches and I think the outfits in that do too. So I'm a mix between I like to be quite girly and wear tight fitting clothes as well, but I'm a bit more on the edgy side. I've got like piercings and tattoos and that. So yes, I'm kind of in between a little bit.
Nice. So coming back to like the start of your dance career, like when did you first get started? Like did you kind of go through training? What was that kind of route?
Yeah. My parents were dance teachers. So I kind of grew up, we had a dance studio in our house back in South Africa. So I was like a little baby sitting on like the blanket, like watching my parents teach dance classes. So when I was old enough to, my dad put me in a pink little tutu and I was like, he put me in the front and I was like at the bar, like holding on with all these like big girls, like doing like little pliés and that. So I've always loved it. But I think I was really fortunate that my parents were like, you don't have to dance. You can go do whatever you want to do. You can go be a lawyer. You can go be you can literally do whatever you want to do. And I think that's how I found my love for dance in that way, is because I got to find it for me and see if that's really what I wanted to do.
The pressure wasn't there.
It wasn't there at all. And then when I moved to New Zealand, again, the option was you can literally do whatever you want to do, new start. But I went to full-time training there. So I went to predominantly jazz and ballet school. Those were like most of the classes that we did most throughout the day. And then we did a few commercial classes and like your syllabus jazz classes. And we had an acting school across from us. So I kind of got a little taste of different styles and got to see what I liked and what I wanted to pursue. Yeah.
And at what point did you kind of think like, this is a direction I want to go?
I think it was in my third year, because in your first 2 years you have to do everything, and then your third year you can do part-time, so you can kind of go work in the industry or get a part-time job and then come and do like a set amount of classes. So I think through that I was able to go outside of my full-time training school and take other classes with dancers who are already established, and I kind of found the people that I liked and the style that I liked. I got to develop it more as well, and really just hone in on my style and what I like to do. So yeah, I was a bit naughty during full-time. I'd like sneak out and like not be at classes, and I go to like commercial hip-hop classes, and they were like, where are you? And I was like, oh, I was really sick, I'm so sorry. And then I'd be at dance classes. So I think I always kind of knew I wanted to be more in the commercial world. I found ballet for me was quite restricting, but it's my bread and butter, and I think I wouldn't be able to have done what I've done today without having that basis and foundation.
Yeah. So moving on to the second look from today, what was that and what made you bring that?
Yeah, so when I was doing my little Eat, Pray, Love, I messaged a company. They were doing cabaret and I think they were looking for dancers, and I had sent in a message and I got a reply back and they were like, oh my God, perfect timing. We were literally just casting today and sending out rehearsal times. So when you're back, we'd love to like have you. So I went back to New Zealand, did the whole Eat, Pray, Love, and came back. And yeah, it was, in terms of dancing and jazz and lines, it was really easy to kind of step into the burlesque cabaret world. And I'm a bit out there, so I was like, taking off my clothes, it's just another day. Like now, you know what I mean? Like I'm really comfortable with myself and my body. But I had to learn a lot about like the history of like burlesque and cabaret. And also it's not just that you take an item of clothing off, you know, you really have to kind of, I say like maybe celebrate it and really make a moment of it. So I found a lot of like beauty in it. It's not just like, oh, now she's just in like some nipple tassels. It's really, everything is just beautiful. So yeah, that was my second look today. I just kind of wanted to be able to market myself as a cabaret burlesque dancer as well.
What would your advice be to someone who's learning like a new style of dance that maybe they've not done before?
I think the first thing would be always going back and learning the basics. I don't think you're ever too experienced or established or just, yeah, I think you can always bring yourself back to the basics. And I think it's also just doing a little bit of research on the style as well, because I mean, it's, you hear people say that a lot, but it really does help you understand what you're doing and how to then really step and embody that style a lot better than just like going to a class and hoping that you look better or feel better in it. But when you watch someone dancing, or you just understand the reason as to why it kind of began, I think it just helps you step into a class and then know what to achieve to kind of get the best results and that you're getting the most out of it.
Yeah. In terms of like classes that you take kind of in your own time, how do you decide what to go to in those and like what things you need to work on?
Yeah, I think it's a balance of like, sometimes it's good to go to classes that just make you feel good and kind of just get your confidence up. And then also it's just classes that really challenge you. Like there's some classes that I go to at like Playground that are completely out of my pocket, but you know, you put on that sweatshirt, you put on that hoodie, and you go as baggy as you can, and you just kind of gotta not care, because I think everyone's so worried about themselves that they're not really looking at you. So even if you feel you need to stand at the back as well, just to gain your confidence, yeah, I kind of just go to classes that really I have to really like be switched on. Are hard, and I won't look the best dancer or would like be selected for groups. Yeah, you got to do that every now and then. It's good to get that training. It's scary.
So kind of like onto your professional career, what kind of work have you done and what's kind of been some highlights for you?
Some highlights for me have been, I booked a tour with 50 Cent. So that was really amazing. We went on tour for a few months. And that was really lovely. That was just great to see. That was like the first time I've ever been on tour. What it's like, you know, from sort of like sending pictures in for your documents, for like traveling and visas, stage rehearsals, lighting rehearsals, and then just actually like costuming and everything and being on stage. There's actually so many people that are like on set that kind of bring everything together, and it's quite hard and a lot of work, like a lot of hours in that. And then I say another one would be, I did a music video with B. Rexer as well, so that was a really cool accomplishment, yeah.
So like on tour, what does kind of like a day on tour look like for a performer?
We had, I mean, it's different for different tours, but for my one, we had, I think it was 2 to 3 days of rehearsals. That was about 8-hour days. And then basically when it comes to like actual show time, you get there really early, maybe start with some of your makeup already done, and then you want to wear really comfortable clothes that you can dance in, because you're going to mark out your positioning on stage. So it's a bit hard when you're in rehearsals. Obviously you have the choreographer telling you what things might look like. He might show you a picture, but it feels really different when you're on stage and it's quite big and you've got these lights and live bands and all this extra music and everything going on. You've got like flamethrowers going off, so it's a lot going on. And we had other dancers on stage with us who were part of 50's like core dancers, so it wasn't even just knowing where we were standing, it was also knowing that these girls need to walk through this way, you need to move over here and dance and in a different position. And yeah, it's really full on. You have to really be switched on, so it can be really exhausting mentally, but yeah, spiritually it's like so fulfilling. It was great.
Yeah. How did it feel the first time kind of walking out to an audience?
Unreal, because like obviously they're there for 50, but at the same time like you look down and you see people like screaming for you and they like, oh my god, like dancers are coming out, and you kind of have to take it in and then kind of calm your nerves down a little bit, because you have to like do your job, or you kind of get a bit overwhelmed and worked up, or at least me. So I had to really like take a breath and just kind of be present. But I remember there'd be a few songs every night. This is crazy. But I would actually be on stage like in tears, like full on crying, because it's just such an unreal experience that you're in this like a great like costume that they've picked out. 50 Cent's literally performing like 2 meters away from you. You're performing out to like 50,000 plus people in a stadium, and just to think of like how hard you've worked to get to where you are, and that you're doing what you love so much when you could be, you know, behind a desk doing a 9 to 5, and you're standing on stage like taking all that in. It's just unreal. So you really just gotta just enjoy every moment of it. Yeah.
What do you think the little girl at the ballet bar would have thought of you now?
Oh, she would be so proud. I just said to her, you just gotta keep going, because you do what you love to do. And all the people who, you know, said no or doubted you, or like you did it. So I gotta keep going, keep pushing. But it's so unreal. So little Julie would be proud, I think.
Moving on to the third look from today, what was that? What made you bring that?
That one is, I love a little like nude cream tone like outfit. So I didn't want to go to dark brown like the one that I have on me right now. So I kind of wanted to go for a little lighter color. And I don't know, I'm just into skirts at the moment. So I just thought a little suit style with like padded shoulders kind of would look quite nice with my hair. And
Insane.
Wow.
Oh! Yeah.
Moving on to that music video that you talked about, how did that come about, and what was the experience on that like?
So I have to start from the beginning, where when I first moved to London, I briefly, I think just in Reels, Josh Pullmore's video had come up, and I had liked it and I commented on it, and I was like, wow, like he's amazing. And when I moved to London, I looked up bass and what classes they were, and I was like, oh my God, like I remember him. So I went to his classes, and Josh was great. He took me under his wing and kind of showed me the ropes and made me feel more comfortable in London as well, and just really made me feel welcome. So I've been working with Josh ever since I moved here, and basically he was a choreographer for that music video. So he sent out a little casting call to a few of his dancers, and production ended up messaging me, and I got selected for it. And then at the time I had blonde hair, but that was the same color as the artist Bebe Rex's. So they were like, we're going to change your hair color. Do you feel comfortable with that? And obviously I did. So I was like, that's absolutely fine. And that kind of brought me back to being brunette. But it was a great experience. It was, it felt really fast, but it was great. Like they took really great care of us, and it was such a fun day. Yeah.
And kind of going back kind of to meeting Josh and stuff there, what was your, because obviously he didn't just say like, oh, you stranger, can I take you under my wing? Like what kind of gave you the confidence to kind of go up to him and like talk and kind of open that kind of dialogue and relationship?
Yeah, I think, I was still a bit nervous, but I just literally went to his class, and then it was more so at the end of the class, because he selected me for groups, and he just really like, he pays attention, so he knew that like he can tell when new people are in his classroom, and he always like goes up to them and asks them for the name, asks them where they're from. And I told him I was from New Zealand, and he was like, oh my goodness, amazing, like send me a message on Instagram. And then we just started talking like that, and then I just went to his classes more regularly. So it was kind of like just through time that I had built that relationship up with him. And that's kind of just how it came about.
So moving to London, how did you build a friendship group? How did you kind of start from nothing and then kind of make the group you have now?
It was really hard, because I think in general people come in and out of London so much. They're just traveling from Greece or Italy or wherever it may be, so they're only there for like 2 weeks or, you know, a few days. So for me, because I didn't go to like a school or like a uni here, it was just like repetition. So I was going to the same places. It was constantly putting myself out there, introducing myself to people, and then also just staying for class, staying after class as well. So people were going to go out and have like little drinks and wind down. It was, hey, like, what are you guys going to do after this? And like kind of going with them as well. So I had to do a lot of that for quite a few months as well, so that people kind of would remember you and see your face and be like, oh yeah, you were in that class like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And it just takes time, because London's just so big. But I say the more that you can put yourself out there, going to events, into being that person, you have to introduce yourself to people. Don't expect people to come, always introduce themselves to you, and just be putting yourself out there, and then eventually it clicks and you just find your people.
Yeah, I think that point of kind of meeting people outside of class is like really important, because obviously you were saying to me earlier, like, you could go to a class, you can see someone, say hi, give them a hug, and then like
and then
you're doing.
Yeah.
But then it's kind of like those, but you don't really get to build a proper relationship there. Like, it's weird. I remember like you saying that earlier, and I was thinking back to like, there was a guy at school who like I didn't really know, but like we'd cross in the hallways like 5 times a day. And it would almost be, you're right. And you kind of like give him like an acknowledging nod, but I never knew him on any deeper level. And I almost feel like that's a very similar thing where you're crossing paths really frequently, but you're not building relationships. I think it does take that little extra step to kind of build those kind of human connections. Yeah,
and it's just the quicker you want to feel like comfortable and have your friends in your group, just the more work you kind of have to do. You just have to do that a little bit more often as well. And then before you know it, like I blinked and then I was going to classes and I was having people being like, Julia! And I'm like, oh my God, like people know me now. Yeah. Like, that was really nice. I was like, oh God, I've finally done the hard yards. So I think that's when I knew. I was like, yay, hi, yes, done it.
So moving on to our final look from today, what was that? What made you bring that?
I just wanted something fun. I think I had a lot of looks that were with like skirts and like 2 pieces, and I just thought that the light blue like little icy lace number was just more for fun. Yeah, I don't know. I just kind of loved it. I suppose maybe that's more for like marketing myself in terms of like commercial heels and music videos. I think that's a really nice look. So yeah, I like the color. Blue's my favorite color, and I just thought that would look really nice with the big hair and lace.
I think you did a really good job today of like having like a nice set of different looks that kind of almost fit like different niches. What was your kind of approach to building a portfolio, and what would your advice be to anyone looking to build on themselves?
I think it's looking at what material you already have and trying to fill in the gaps. So for me, I think the last time I shot with you, I had a lot of really edgy looks that are very niche, or you can only advertise yourself very much so in a certain way or to certain agencies, like very, very niche. And I think I needed something that was fresh and updated that I could kind of be used for anything, agency shots, any little castings and things like that as well, just something more current and more versatile as well. So it wasn't too... niche. It was kind of just a bit more broad. So that's what I was thinking.
And what would your advice be to someone who's starting now but doesn't have any photos yet?
I'd say you want to sit down and think about what you want to do. What do you want to go to? So who are you marketing yourself to? Do you want to do more Broadway? Do you want to do more like commercial hip hop work? Do you want to... I think it's just finding out what you want to do first, and who you're talking to and who you're sending your information pack to. And then it's sitting down and making sure that you have a look that is very different. So maybe something that's a bit more simple and stripped back, something that's quite edgy and commercial, something a bit more fun that you could be quite like vibrant and colourful, and kind of just picking little pockets like that and then build on that over time. Yeah.
Amazing. So what does the future look like for you?
The future looks like me just making the most of every opportunity, being in spaces that I haven't really been in or I'm not really comfortable in. So I think it's, like I was saying before, meeting new people and stepping into classes that I don't usually go to, because I feel like that's when a lot of opportunities and that arise. I'd love to teach some classes and that overseas as well. So maybe a few little pop-up workshops. And yeah, I don't know, hopefully some more tours and live performances. Yeah, so we'll see.
Amazing. This has been so fun. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Boom.
It's been a fun day.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this episode, please share it. If you want to see more of these, click subscribe. And if you've got any questions or anything you want to ask, just drop them in the comments below. See you in the next session.